Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror on a quiet morning and wondered, is there still something I can change? Or maybe you've let out a sigh, feeling like the years have flown by too fast, and you ask yourself, do I still have time to become someone more meaningful? If you've ever had those thoughts, you're not alone. Many people after 65 begin to feel a shift, not just in their bodies, but deep inside. Your steps may slow, your memory might fade at times, and even your relationships begin to change with the years. But you know what? Your value does not fade with time. In fact, if you know how to embrace it, growing older can be the moment when you shine the brightest. You don't have to be young again. You don't have to chase anything. You just need to make small changes in how you live, how you think, and how you see yourself. And these changes, even the smallest ones, can make you someone others naturally cherish. In this video, I want to invite you on a journey not to fix yourself, but to reconnect with the goodness that's always been within you, perhaps just forgotten in the rush of life. Together, we'll explore 6 gentle but powerful changes that can help you feel more peace inside, become more treasured in the eyes of your children, grandchildren, and community, and most importantly, feel more connected to yourself, a mature, grounded, and meaningful version of you. No need to shout. No need to prove anything. Just take a quiet moment to listen to your own heart, because sometimes one small shift in the way we think can open up a whole new life. Are you ready? Let's begin with the first change. Simple, but deeply impactful. Dear friend, at some point, maybe 65, maybe 70 or 75, you might start to feel like the world is moving too fast while you are slowing down. Your steps aren't as quick, your thoughts take a little more time, and sometimes it feels like people no longer see or hear you the way they used to. Some mornings, you might find yourself standing in front of the mirror, not to fix your hair or clothes, but to look into your own eyes and search for a familiar feeling. That sense of still belonging in this world. And then, maybe you sigh, because time really has moved so fast, because your role in life doesn't feel as clear anymore. The kids are grown, the career has ended, old friends have slowly faded from view, and you start to ask, do I still matter? Does anyone still need me? If you've had those questions, dear friend, please know you are not alone. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling this way. Let's think about something together. Imagine an old book, its spine a little worn, its pages slightly yellowed, but inside are stories that once made someone laugh, cry, or even change their life. Wouldn't you still say that book is precious? The answer is yes, and maybe even more precious than a brand new book no one has ever read. You're like that book. Age doesn't take away your worth. It makes you deeper, richer, and even more valuable. Many people believe value only comes from being useful or productive. But the truth is, some of the most powerful value lies in simply being present. Your presence at a family dinner, your smile in your grandchild's eyes, your name in the cherished memories of those who love you. You don't need to prove your worth. It's always been there, just waiting for you to recognize it. Let me tell you about Mrs. Linda. She's 72. She used to be a librarian, quiet, organized, and kind. After retiring, she felt like her life had lost meaning. She didn't know why she should even get out of bed anymore. No one seemed to need her help. She started thinking, maybe I'm just a shadow in other people's lives now. Until one day, her little grandson came to visit. When his mom told him it was time to leave, the boy said, "I don't want to go." Grandma tells stories with a voice as soft as the wind. That night, Mrs. Linda couldn't sleep, but not because she was tired. For the first time in years, her heart felt warm again, because of one small sentence from a child. And in that moment, she realized her value never disappeared. It was just waiting to be seen again. So, dear friend, instead of telling yourself, "I don't matter anymore," ask this instead. How many years have I lived with love and responsibility? How many people have I quietly comforted just with a kind word or a gentle smile? I may not move as fast as I used to, but maybe that's a gift, because now I can slow down to truly listen, to love deeper, something the younger ones still haven't learned. Do you know something? No one understands life better than someone who's lived it. And no one is more deserving of respect than someone who has kept a warm heart through all life's changes. So tomorrow morning, when you look in the mirror, Don't focus on the wrinkles. Look into your eyes and smile. You're still here, and you still have so many beautiful things to share with this world. Aging does not take away your value. It simply highlights the best parts you've been nurturing all your life. Kindness, patience, wisdom, love. And no one can take that from you unless you stop seeing it in yourself. If this part has touched something in your heart, if you've ever doubted your own worth or just realized you're more precious than you thought, leave a comment below. You can share a memory, a thought, or simply write, "I still matter." Because your words may be the tiny spark that warms someone else's heart. Someone who's older, feeling alone, and waiting for a sign that they are not forgotten. Have you ever sat beside someone, maybe your child, your grandchild, or a friend, and felt like you weren't truly being heard? Or maybe you found yourself listening to someone talk, but your mind was somewhere else, wandering off, caught up in thoughts of your own? In today's fast-paced world, everyone's busy, everyone's rushing. The younger generation is busy with work, raising kids, chasing goals that haven't even been named yet. And older folks like us, we may have more free time, but often we feel forgotten. There's something invisible, but more valuable than anything: presence. Not just being physically there, but being truly there with your heart, your attention, and your warm gaze. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you really listened to someone with your whole heart? And when was the last time you felt truly listened to? If it takes you a moment to think, that's okay. It simply means one thing: we're missing a key piece in how we connect with others: deep attention and listening. Let me tell you about Mr. Bernard. He's 69, living with his wife and their 8-year-old granddaughter. Every afternoon, he sits and reads the newspaper. And almost every day, his granddaughter would come running up saying, "Grandpa, I want to tell you something." And he'd often respond without looking up, "Sure, go ahead, I'm reading." One day, she stopped coming. She stopped talking. Mr. Bernard noticed, closed the paper, and sat beside her. He asked gently, "Why don't you tell me your stories anymore?" She looked up and quietly said, "Because you don't really listen." That moment hit him hard. From that day on, he made a choice: to put the paper down, to really sit beside her and listen, even if the stories were small: a broken pencil, a loud neighborhood cat, a new drawing. And here's what he discovered. When we truly listen, not only do we understand others better, our hearts grow softer, younger, and warmer. You don't need a degree to be a good listener. You don't need perfect health. You don't even need to say much. You just need to look into the other person's eyes, not interrupt, and let your heart be fully present in that moment. Here's the beautiful part. When you begin to listen deeply, others will slowly begin to listen to you more too. Connection flows both ways, and you can be the one to begin by simply being there, fully and sincerely. So, how do we practice this kind of presence? Here are 3 small ways to start. 1. Put away distractions. Turn off the TV. Set the phone aside during a conversation. Simple to say, harder to do, but just try it for one day. When someone talks to you, give them your undivided attention. You'll see something shift in their eyes, their voice, even their smile. 2. Ask open-hearted questions, not judgmental ones. Instead of saying, "Why would you do that?" try saying, "I really want to understand what you're feeling. Can you tell me more?" This kind of question helps younger people open up. It also shows that you're not trying to teach them. You're walking beside them. 3. Remind yourself, "I am here," and that is enough. You don't need to offer advice all the time. Sometimes just sitting beside someone, holding their hand, and letting them feel your presence is more than enough. When you change the way you show up, others will start to see you differently. Your children and grandchildren will want to talk to you more. Friends will feel safe and comforted around you. And you, yes, you will begin to feel lighter, no longer burdened by the feeling of disconnection. Listening is one of the simplest ways to rebuild bridges of love, and you can start today. Dear friend, you don't need to force yourself to keep up with the fast-paced world of the younger generation. You just need to do one thing: be the peaceful space that others want to return to. And your quiet, warm presence, that's what people will remember far longer than any flashy words. Are you beginning to feel the desire to listen more and to be listened to more? If so, leave a comment below. Share a moment when someone truly listened to you. Or simply write, I'm learning to listen with my whole heart. Who knows? Your comment may be the encouragement someone else needs. Someone who's longing for true connection. At this stage in life, perhaps the most precious thing isn't time, money, or even health. It's peace of mind. Have you ever felt like you're forcing yourself to stay in a relationship, maybe with someone you care about deeply, but every time you talk to them, you end up feeling tired, drained? Or maybe there are those calls, favors, or social gatherings you agree to, not because you want to, but because you feel guilty saying no. Many people in their 60s or 70s and beyond feel this way, because from a young age, we were taught to put others first, to sacrifice for our families, to keep the peace, even if it meant swallowing our own feelings. But dear friend, there comes a time when you're allowed to choose peace without feeling guilty. Have you ever found yourself nodding yes when your whole body wanted to say no? Agreeing to help when you really just needed to rest? Going to an event just because you didn't want to seem rude? Staying quiet when someone misunderstood you just to avoid conflict? If you're nodding right now, then let's sit with this together for a moment. Because today we're learning about a simple but powerful change. Setting gentle boundaries, not out of anger, but out of love. Let me tell you about someone I know. Mrs. Margaret, age 67. She lives with her daughter and 2 grandkids. Since retiring, she's taken on almost everything at home. Cooking, cleaning, babysitting, non-stop. One day she felt tired. She wanted to visit her old hometown for a few days, just to rest and see old friends. But her daughter said, "If you go, who's going to watch the kids? Can you stay a little longer?" Margaret smiled and agreed. But that night she couldn't sleep, not because she was angry at her daughter, but because she felt like she was no longer a respected elder, but more like a live-in helper in her own family. After that, she didn't make a fuss. But slowly she began to set small limits. She'd babysit only until 5 p.m. She'd take 1 full day off each week. And she gave herself 1 quiet evening, just to drink tea and listen to her favorite music. At first, her daughter wasn't happy, but eventually she realized something important. When mom is healthy and happy, the whole family feels better. You have the right to say no, with love. You have the right to protect your energy without guilt. You have the right to care for yourself, so you can keep loving others the right way. Here's another story I love. Mr. Richard, 72, is a retired engineer who enjoys peaceful living. His old friends often invite him out, dinners, parties, get-togethers, but Richard prefers quiet evenings at home, reading or gardening. One day he gently said, "I care about you all very much, but these days I need more quiet time. When I feel ready, I'll join in again." And you know what happened? No one pressured him anymore. In fact, they respected him more. Because clarity, when paired with kindness, always earns respect. As we grow older, our memories grow deeper. There are days when a song plays or a scent floats by, and suddenly we're pulled back. To a loved one who's no longer here, a decision we regret, or a chance we didn't take. And that's normal. It's not strange at all to carry unhealed parts of the past with us, even in our later years. But here's the truth. If we keep holding on to guilt, regret, or resentment, there won't be enough room left in our hearts for the good that still exists right now. So let me gently ask you, is there something in your heart that still weighs heavy on you today? Maybe it's someone who hurt you, maybe it's a mistake you made, or a goodbye that came too soon. We all have scars of time, but the real question is, will you keep reopening them? Or will you choose to release them and let yourself breathe more freely? Let me share another story. Mr. Thomas, age 70, used to be an accountant. He spent his life working hard, providing for his family. But one thing haunted him. I wasn't there for my mother's final days. She passed away while I was away on a work trip. He never talked about it, but it lived in his eyes, a quiet sadness that never quite left. One day his granddaughter asked, "Grandpa, have you ever done something that made you feel sad for a long time?" Thomas was taken aback, and then he told her the truth. The little girl paused and then whispered, "If Grandma could talk to you now, maybe she'd say, 'Thomas, I'm not mad at you. I just want you to live with a lighter heart.'" That moment broke something open in him. He cried, not from sadness, but from relief. Because finally he allowed himself to forgive. Not because someone else told him to, but because his own heart was ready. You can't change the past, but you can change how you carry it. You can choose to take with you only what makes you stronger, softer, and wiser. Every mistake, every wound, every heartbreak has shaped you into someone with deep compassion and quiet courage. So ask yourself, am I holding on to something that's weighing me down? What lesson can I learn from it? If the person I miss were here, what would they want from me now? How can you start to let go of something heavy? Here are 3 simple ways. 1. Write it down. Whatever is on your heart. Write it like you're speaking to a dear friend or to your younger self. No need for perfect words, just honesty. 2. Speak a sentence of forgiveness. Try saying, I did the best I could with what I knew at the time, and that is enough. Or, I release this, not to forget, but to stop hurting myself. 3. Create a small ritual. Burn the paper. Fold it and tuck it in a memory box. Let it go. Not to erase it, but to place it in a peaceful corner of your soul. Dear friend, the past is a place to remember, not a place to live. Let it flow like a river. You don't have to swim backward. Just stay present in today, where many beautiful things are still waiting to be embraced. If there's something from your past you're ready to release, even just a little, feel free to leave a comment below. You can write, I'm learning to forgive myself, or share a small story. No need to go into details, just speak from the heart. Because sometimes, writing it out is the first step to feeling light again. And maybe, just maybe, your words will help someone else feel less alone. Let me tell you something very real. Not about someone else, but about myself. There were moments in my life when I thought, the older I get, the calmer and more peaceful I'll become. But to my surprise, aging wasn't quite what I imagined. I used to think that when I retired, when the busy workdays and everyday worries were behind me, I'd finally have time to rest, to enjoy life. But then, as the noise of the outside world quieted down, I began to hear more of the noise inside me. Sometimes just one careless comment from a family member would hurt deeply. A distant look, a casual rejection, would leave me feeling like I didn't matter anymore. I felt upset. I felt hurt. But I said nothing. Instead, I carried those feelings to bed each night, lying awake and wondering, why am I so sensitive now? Am I becoming a burden? Am I being left behind? For a long time, I searched for answers in others, but eventually my heart turned inward and quietly asked, what do I truly need right now? The answer wasn't something grand. It was simply a longing to live more lightly, to stop holding on to pain, to stop waiting for others to fully understand me, to stop needing to be right or needed or praised. Just to find a quiet enough space where I could stand still in peace. From that moment, everything began to slow down. I stopped reacting so quickly. I gave myself permission to pause, to take a deep breath instead of rushing to respond, to sit in silence, not to avoid, but to truly feel. I no longer needed to prove myself, no longer needed to explain every decision, no longer needed to hold on to roles I'd once played, just to feel worthy. Because I finally understood, true value doesn't come from noise, it comes from presence. A calm, steady presence, a quiet heart that doesn't rush, doesn't compete, doesn't demand attention. Now when conversations grow tense, I choose to stay grounded, not to win an argument, but to protect my peace and the relationship. One step back isn't weakness, it's wisdom. One gentle smile can be more powerful than 1,000 words. And when the heart is calm, the whole house feels softer. Family members begin to relax, no more walking on eggshells, no more sharp retorts over tiny disagreements. Over time, that quiet strength becomes a kind of safe space for others, a place where they can come to rest, to sit together without having to talk too much, and still feel loved. Sometimes you don't need to do anything grand to be valuable. You just need to keep a gentle soul. And if lately you find yourself feeling more tender, more emotional, please know that is completely normal. It's a sign your heart is still alive, still feeling, still loving. What matters now isn't trying to be tougher again. It's learning to stay with your emotions, to hold them kindly, understand them, and let them pass through you gently. Even just 5 minutes a day, sitting quietly with a warm cup of tea, breathing deeply and smiling softly, and reminding yourself, I'm learning to slow down so I can feel more peace. If this part has touched something in you, I invite you to leave a comment below. A moment when you chose calm over conflict, or simply type, I choose peace over being right. Because maybe your small reflection today could become someone else's soft landing tomorrow. Maybe the most important thing we can learn as we grow older is how to look back at our lives, not with regret, but with deep appreciation. After so many years of living through ups and downs, love and loss, we tend to remember the things we didn't do right. The mistakes, the wrong turns, the what-ifs and if-onlys. And sometimes we look at ourselves and feel like we still haven't done enough. But here's the truth. No one lives a perfect life, and no one needs to be perfect to be deeply valuable. Every wrinkle on your face tells a story, of smiles, of worries, of love you've given. Every callus on your hand speaks of years of hard work, done not for praise, but for the people you love. Every sleepless night, every tear you shed quietly was part of a brave and beautiful journey, and that journey was yours. It wasn't always easy, but you made it through. And now, as you sit here reading these words, you can gently say to yourself, I've done the best I could with all I had through every chapter of life. Others may not know all the silent sacrifices you made. Your children and grandchildren may never fully understand what you carried, but you know, your heart knows, and that is enough. Have you ever thought about this? That your life is a treasure chest, filled with stories, wisdom, and quiet strength. Everything you've lived through, good or bad, has made you who you are. And it can inspire others if you choose to share it. Sharing doesn't have to be anything big. It can be a simple memory told to your grandchild on the porch. A journal entry just for yourself that you can read later and whisper, yes, I lived that moment deeply. If you've come this far, if you've stayed with me through these gentle reflections, then I believe something beautiful is growing in you. A tiny seed of hope, of self-compassion, of soft strength. Growing older is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new chapter, quieter, more refined, where you don't need to rush anymore, where you can live slowly, with depth, and radiate a kind of wisdom that doesn't shout, but stays. Throughout this video, we haven't just talked about 6 small changes. We've taken a walk through the seasons of life, and more importantly, we've opened the door to a gentler, more meaningful way of being. No matter your age, you can still change, not to become someone else, but to return to the truest, most beautiful version of you, peaceful, understanding, loving. There's no age limit to growth, no expiration date on starting fresh. Every small shift you make today is a slow and steady step toward a richer, more meaningful life. You are a quiet light, steady and so needed. You don't have to say much. You don't have to prove anything. Just living with a kind heart, showing up with soft eyes and calm presence, that alone makes you deeply valuable. And now, I have a small invitation for you. If anything in this video touched your heart, if even one part made you feel seen, comforted, or accompanied, please leave a comment below. One change you'd like to start today, one thing you feel proud of in your life, or simply type, I am still living and becoming more valuable every day. Your words could inspire someone else. And maybe, just maybe, that comment becomes your quiet gift to the world, wrapped in gentleness. If you found meaning in this video, please click like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about, someone who may be entering the golden years of their life. Because all of us deserve to live fully, to feel seen, and to be deeply loved, right up until the very last breath. Thank you for being here. May your days be filled with quiet peace, gratitude, and the warm light that comes from within.